This is Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Join Pastors Dave, Ty, and Shane for a fresh, fun, and often unpredictable take on faith, the Bible, and the world around us.
And good morning, it's Pastors Live. It's Thursday, it's June 4th, and it's a wonderful day. Today we have some wonderful Bible readings, but we even have wonderful people here in the studio. Pastor Shane is here today.
Hello.
And Pastor Dave is here today.
God bless you guys.
And then we also have Gary Austin, the voice
Hi,
of the
guys.
Valley, the man, the myth, the legend. So we're so thankful for all of our listeners as well. You guys are here today, and we thank you for that.
Hi, Ty.
And I'm Ty. That's right. I keep forgetting about myself. So, I guess that's a good thing. But we've got a couple things. Today is a National Third Try Day. Like that moment where we kind of, we give up and, now today's Third Try Day.
Right.
Has there ever been anything that you guys had in life that you were like, you tried it and failed, tried it again and failed, and just said, well, that's it, I can't do it? Have you guys ever had that kind of attitude? Because where your thoughts go, your actions go. Did you guys ever have that?
Probably. I don't know if it's like 3 strikes and you're out type of thing, but I've definitely had things that I've done in my life where I'm like, yeah, I'm not really like doing well at this, so maybe we should try something else.
Raising the boys, it was funny because I was working with them sometimes, and they'd be like, I just can't get it. I said, you've only tried once. And they try again. Oh, see, I told you I can't do it. I'm like, okay, come on, man.
Keep trying.
Keep trying.
Keep trying.
If you want
like our coffee makers, still trying.
Oh, is
still trying?
Is our coffee maker still actually trying currently? Is that? I thought we were
Sounds terrible.
I thought we were too close to Yellowstone. I thought I thought maybe it was all over.
This is how it starts.
This is how it starts. Starts with rumbling in the corner.
Keurig.
So, Dave, by the way, have you and Sil, I know you guys love going up to Yellowstone. Have you guys gotten up already to Yellowstone this year yet?
We went to Yellowstone once, and
Okay.
had a wonderful time early on in the season. We've been doing a lot of riding, and we haven't ridden in Yellowstone yet this year. We will probably half a dozen times, but it's beautiful up there. Interestingly, they have recorded somewhere between 20 and 30 more bears this year in Yellowstone.
So don't pet the fluffy
and
cows.
it's amazing.
Or the
It's
bears.
amazing. All of my friends that are going from our fellowship, especially if you go into the Lamar Valley, they're all seeing grizz, all of them.
Yes, my mom just took her friend
Wendy-
from Alabama.
Yeah.
And they took a picture of this huge bear.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't think that's a black bear. And I give it to my stepdad, who's avid hunter, and he goes,
Right.
oh, that's a grizzly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, you saw it's like right in front of her. You saw
Yeah.
a grizzly bear on your first time in the park in years? Like,
Right.
that's awesome.
Yeah, there are more bear sightings this year already.
Yeah.
Than almost in the last several years. I mean, it's crazy. And unfortunately, we've also had the 2 brothers who were attacked near Old Faithful. So just because you're on the boardwalks or on the trails doesn't mean you shouldn't be smart. Take some bear spray.
Yeah, pay attention to what you're doing.
Yep.
And
remember those little bear bells that they sell you at the sporting goods store? Those are actually dinner bells. Those are,
You're right.
Here, bear. Here, bear. Here I am. I'm over
Get a good old
here.
air horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have to, like when we would go up to Glacier, we spent a lot of time in Glacier. Mm-hmm. And we go into the wilderness over there, and you're just, every once in a while you get up there, you're going to go fishing, right? You got the boys, we're hiking up, and we go, okay, there's bear sign. And then you get up and you look over where you were going to fish, and there's 2 bears fishing. You're like, we're out. Like,
That's right.
And so
Just be smart.
Oh yeah, be smart, be wise.
We like Wits Lake. There's a great hike that I like to take. It's a little strenuous. It's not difficult, but it's not easy. So moderate, I guess. And I remember the first time I hiked Wits Lake, I was with Doc and Donna, our friends from West Yellowstone, and Sylvia and I were hiking with them. And we're getting all of our stuff together, and Doc and Donna are avid hikers. They like to go out into the back country. Like they don't believe in trails, but they were going to humor us and take us to Wits Lake on these trails. And so we're getting all set up, and we get out of the car, and I remember Doc look at me and say, would you guys mind losing the dinner bells? And we're like, what? The dinner, would you mind losing those? I'm looking around, I don't have any dinner bells. He goes, your bear bells. Yeah. Oh, okay. But when you're up on that hike, I don't know have you taken it yet?
No,
Because
no.
you see the scratchings on the trees.
Right,
You're in
right.
bear country. So it's like, just take the spray. Don't be stupid, but don't call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get out of the car, ring in the triangle. Yeah.
Because the
So,
bear looks at
yeah.
me and says, "Man, you're good for 2 meals." So,
Yeah, that one's leftovers.
That's right, yeah.
But by the way, it's also National Wrong Turn
get
Day.
a doggy bag with
By the way, speaking of hiking, it's National Wrong Turn Day.
Took many of those.
I've done that. But boy, I tell you what, I'm so thankful for GPS because you guys remember when we had the paper. Well, Dave and I remember when we had paper maps. And you had to fold
I
it.
still
unfold
use
it.
them, by the way.
And so
Yeah.
We used them when we moved up from California.
Yeah, the atlases and all that. It's easy to miss a turn when you're doing that, but of course GPS helps with that. But on this day in history, I don't know, man. Were you guys fans of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids that premiered today? Do you guys remember that?
I do remember that.
Dave, do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, we watched it with our kids.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
so I just like, it's
But isn't
interesting.
isn't this also the day that we launched Voyager 1? Was that today?
June 4th. Let's see.
Well, I don't know, man. Dave, I love your point.
Yeah,
was
wasn't
it
that
50 years
interesting?
ago? 50 years
They're
ago.
finally Voyager 1 is now in interstellar space or whatever they call it.
Right?
Right.
And it's still speaking to Earth.
Right, and it can for maybe another year or two, and then it'll lose power.
Right.
And NASA's excited because it'll keep floating for another million years or whatever.
Yeah.
September 5th,
Oh, is that what it was?
1977.
But what's really interesting is they've been able to it took men 50 years to do what Dave said prayer does in an instant, right? we speak to God, He hears it.
Yeah,
we
we're
don't have to-
speaking to the one who sits on the throne in the heavens, and NASA's excited because we've spent however many millions of dollars to finally break through outer space. So, congratulations.
Yeah, and of course you could just imagine the Lord sitting with the angels going, "Oh, isn't that cute?"
Well, yeah, because you think about the Tower of Babel. We're
Right.
going to build a tower into the heavens, and it's like, well, it took NASA 50 years to do it, and they're moving pretty honking fast in space. I wonder how long those guys in Babel thought they were going to take to build a tower to the heavens.
to the heavens. Yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah.
Zechariah. Yeah,
The Bible says that God had to stoop down to look at it.
that's how tiny.
Oh,
in
look
God's
at that
perspective,
cute little
yeah.
tower. Isn't that something else?
Guys, like,
Screw
they're going to
their
run out of oxygen if they get too high. So let's
Let's mess up their language.
Yeah, mess them up. So, hey, by the way, also we have a couple things. First of all, we've got July 3rd, 4th, July 3rd, 5th.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
National Third Try.
Yeah,
You can do it.
National Third Try Day. We got this, right? June 28th through the 3rd
That's
is
awesome.
5th and 6th graders. It is the VBS Extreme that's coming up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like, 3rd, 5th, what? I was so. You guys understood why I was confused.
Yeah,
right?
VBS Extreme is coming.
Yeah, so
June 28th through July 3rd
for 5th and
for
6th graders.
5th and 6th graders.
There we go. That's it. Oh, great inflection, by the way. That was very good. Yes, that's coming up. And then, of course, we also, if you're new to the fellowship, we've got Coffee with the Pastor coming up. But VBS
How
is
important is coffee with the pastor, Pastor?
coffee
Softball
for the
for
pastor,
you.
coffee with the pastor.
Yes,
Coffee,
both.
Both, yes. Coffee for the pastor, very important. At least 1 cup in the morning. Coffee with the pastor is really important because one of the things we do is we talk about culture. And right now we've been talking about the culture that we're trying to build as a church and faith community, which is a culture that is based upon loving God, loving others, and repeating that process. And we're starting to add to that conversation, not just only the issue of love and the fact that love actually deals with sin. It doesn't say sin's okay. So it doesn't affirm sin, but doesn't hate the sinner. It actually tries to point people to Jesus, which is the beauty of the gospel, that God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. As Paul says, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And so God's love for us is amazing. In fact, I read a quote by Eugene Peterson the other day, which I thought was really, really great. He said, love is essentially love is how we process the world around us. And it was very interesting as how he talked about that. And it was in a book that he wrote called Leap Over the Wall. And it was so, so sweet. But yeah, love is very important. But we also are starting to talk about the mindset behind that. Like, how do we get ourselves to that place where we can love and not hate, where we can love and correct, and how do we do that with a healthy mindset instead of an angry mindset? And so how do we do that? And so that we get together in the Coffee with the Pastor, we talk about church culture. Lori and I share our testimonies. And so it's a really sweet time to come together, because it takes everybody to build a culture that's healthy together. And of course, we live in a world right now where there's just so much just nastiness in the world today, and just venom that's happening. It's kind of nice to be able to come into a church where that stuff is outside and inside. We're trying to create something that resembles a healthy community. Whereas N.T. Wright said that the church is supposed to be kind of a small piece of the new creation, like
a glimpse of it, right?
Yeah, a glimpse of the new creation as we love God and love others. So yeah, that's why Coffee with the Pastor is important, and we love doing it, and it's a joy. But today in our Bible reading, we're in Acts chapter 6, verses 1 through 7, which I thought this is an interesting place to break this one today. I was like, I wonder if that's supposed to be 17. Gary, is that correct? Is that
well, there's
actually
only 15 verses in chapter 6, so
well, okay. So I guess
why not
that
just
is
do the whole chapter. Right?
Well, yeah, that's like we gotta work on that one. But but I think obviously when we talk about this, here we're talking about deacons that are being put in place, and there's a real conversation I think to be had. You guys are. You guys are paying attention, and if our listeners aren't, it's really interesting the what's going on with Albert Mueller and with Rick Warren, and what's going on with the Southern Baptist Church, and the issue of the role of the overseer, elder, pastor in the church, and so these conversations, right? And so if you haven't been paying attention, it's a brouhaha. How's that, Dave? Is that a good way to say it? It's a brouhaha.
Well, I don't know. I'll have to ask Beth Moore if I have permission to speak into it.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that's yeah. So I think that
she'll say yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is right. Yeah, Pastor Ty, you're right. The SBC, the Southern Baptist Convention, they may be the last men standing in terms of denominations. In our country, they're the largest Protestant denomination, which is sort of an oxymoron, I guess. But anyway, they're the largest, quote, Protestant denomination in the United States, and they're the last ones to stand against, to stand for, Orthodox New Testament biblical standards of leadership and so forth. And I'm kind of with Todd Friel on this one. I don't agree with everything Todd says, but I agree with Todd on this one. It's like stand strong, SBC.
Standing.
You're the last man standing in the denominational world.
Yeah,
and it's one of the reasons I think a lot of people have left denominations, though, and gone to non-denominational churches like the Calvary Chapels, and Chuck Missler used to call us the largest non-denominational denomination. But, Water Springs and so many other churches. There's a lot of great non-denominational churches. And some people don't like them because they feel like, but who are you guys accountable to? Well, the problem is, in the denominations, you have a hierarchy. And sometimes that hierarchy can create more of a bondage for pastors than they do give freedom for pastors. Yeah. And but at the same time, if that denomination holds the biblical line, then okay, pastors should be okay with that. And the Southern Baptists are the last to do so. And God bless Dr. Mueller. I hope he can hang in there.
Well, and on the vote. What's happening with the whole thing is they're trying to add something to their constitution as a denomination to clarify it, and this is the third round, right, Dave? I think this is the third round of voting.
Tim would know actually better on that.
Yeah, I think it's the third round of voting on this one, but I want to point something out that I think sometimes. Everything just goes to extremes. When we talk about, the first deacons, right? The first deacons weren't Jewish. These are Greek men who are helping with a problem between the Jewish widows and the Greek widows, but they had some qualifications, right?
And some people's Bibles might say Hellenists.
Hellenists, yes.
So you want to maybe
clarify
speak into that?
Well, Hellenists were an interesting group of people. They were Greek-speaking Jews, and so there was a conflict. They'd kind of left. They'd spent so much time in the Greek culture that they had kind of become their culture, and so that's where this conflict is coming in. And when you think about it, Paul, when he talks about suffering not a woman to teach in the church in Ephesians, he also talks about women prophesying and praying in Corinth. So I think there's an issue here when we say, hey, look, what does this mean when we're talking about male eldership and that role as elder, overseer, pastor as that one role? And if obviously one office, 3 roles, right? That kind of a thing. And it gets a little dicey and gets super emotional for people.
Right.
But I think what's really beautiful is that there were women who were obvious deacons in the church.
Yeah, Romans 16:1, right? Phoebe would be one for sure.
Phoebe, women are mentioned in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 11.
Absolutely.
This is Paul, talking about that. We see, obviously we see Priscilla in Acts 18.
There you go.
And she's also in Acts 16:3.
Who, by the way, is also an exhorter and a teacher. So the idea that women can never, ever, ever teach
or exhort
is silly. But they are not to teach or usurp authority over a man. So there's a difference, right? So when Paul says, I suffer not a woman to teach or usurp authority over a man. But then later on, it's very clear that Priscilla is a teacher, and she even was part of discipling Apollos.
Yep.
So she had a discipling ministry, which wasn't necessarily an expository teaching ministry of pastor. So I love the question that Beth Moore asked very publicly the other day. Well, then I would ask Dr. Mulder, exactly what can women do in the church? And I'm like, well, you could just read the New Testament to find out, because they have a lot to do, a whole lot to do. And I've been encouraged by many, many, many women in the church, Nan Missler and Kay Smith and Mama Kwan,
Yeah. Well,
my
Corey
wife.
Ten Boom, my own wife.
My wife, she just got done doing a personal study through Titus, and she would be like, hey, teach the younger women. We need that right now. We need older women teaching the younger women. That's a huge role in the church, right?
That's right.
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, you have Junia, right? That's Acts 16:7, right?
Yeah.
And this is Paul. I mean, Paul, the guy who said to the church in Ephesus, hey, this is out of order. However, I want to point out, these are women who are serving in the church, and you have Lydia. That's also Acts 16. But you have Mary and Precious. I mean, Acts 16 is so full of that. I find that really fascinating. Of course, we're going through, Romans 16. And of course, we're going through Romans right now. So that's going to be really fun when we get there to have those conversations. But I do think that we need to realize that both men and women are needed for the church. Right. And I think but the problem is, it gets so emotional.
Right.
And when men become braggadocious, or men speak in a way that seems even slightly disrespectful, it's hurtful. Yep. And then we get emotions involved, and we've moved past saying, what does the Bible teach us, to what do our emotions drive us to? And so this conversation can't be emotionally driven. This conversation it has to be driven just simply by the teaching of the Word of God.
Period.
And when we say, hey guys, so, one of those examples when somebody, goes after, or speaks roughly towards Albert in a public forum, and they're being gruff, and they're kind of being sarcastic but being mean about it, you're like, that sets off emotions in other people where people stop listening.
And he's the president of the Southern Baptist Convention.
He is,
Albert Mohler.
And so
for people who may not,
for people who don't know,
yeah.
And so he's just saying, hey, can we just go ahead and add that, hey, the role of pastor, we're going to go ahead and leave under that office of elder, and we're just going to leave that there, and can we add that to the Constitution? And what's happened, I think, a lot has happened recently where they've separated the term pastor from the male eldership role. And so they've separated those two. And that's where this conversation gets kind of dicey, because when you start redefining things, people are like, oh, wait, but we view it this way and we view it that way. Well, okay. But when you start becoming emotionally nasty with your speech, or you can tell there's a mindset sometimes that's broken. I listen, and I've been listening to the mindset. And I was watching some of the film, and I was listening to people in the background. Like when Rick Warren was talking, I was listening to people behind him and things that they were saying. And I thought, wow, that's just stirring people up to just not, to get all emotional about just something God says, hey, plainly.
It's like a political convention.
Yeah.
It ought not to be. We're the church. Folks.
We're the church. And we should behave like that.
Very much like living in the flesh, right? And
right? Yeah.
When we talk about the consequences of sin in Genesis, it's super interesting to me. Most people, when I ask a question like marriage counseling or premarital, I say, hey, back in Genesis 3 when sin entered the world, what were the consequences of that, right? And they name them off, but they always forget one.
Yeah.
And that's how the man and the woman are going to fight and be divided. And the woman's always going to try to usurp the man, but it never will be. And then you fast forward to the New Testament, and the remedy for that chaos and that consequence is found in Christ, who we submit to and brings mutual submission to one another in the body of Christ, not just a marriage, but in the body of Christ. And it's sad to see a bunch of people forsaking that and acting fleshy, you know?
And I do want to point something out for like Bible people that are going to go check some stuff out, which we appreciate you. Yeah. Phoebe is the only woman explicitly called a deacon in the New Testament. I want to point that out. The references in 1 Timothy 3 probably indicate additional women and deaconesses, but those things are not universally agreed upon. But there's one that we cannot argue, and it's Phoebe, and it's very, very clear that she's referred to as a deaconess. And I think it's important to realize who wrote that. Paul, who also wrote Ephesians, and where we have a lot of that conversation that comes up. So I just want to point that out, guys.
Well, that was a heavy Thursday.
Yeah, that was a heavy Thursday.
I love Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursdays is good. Hey, listen, you're loved, your family, and we love everybody. And everybody should be serving the Lord as God called them to. So, hey, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Pastors Live, a Rev FM production podcast. Join us again for more Bible talk, laughter, and unexpected tangents. Questions or feedback? Pastors Live at therev.fm. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.